What's up people? We are here at beautiful Järva, where a couple weeks ago the Järva Open X Tyyni Discgolf Pro Tour Silver Series was held. And for the first time in my career, I cashed in a Discgolf Pro Tour event. I will take you through the course and my thought process on how I managed to get cash at a Discgolf Pro Tour event. Alright, so we're here at hole 1, 121 meter par 3 uphill, slightly turning right at the end, and basically the only danger here is the OB on the entire left side. I actually want to go for a really flippy roller so that the only mistake I can make is go early right, because I don't want to bring the left side into play. Sit right there. Sit. 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 It's still rolling. And sit. No, okay, go for another one, and there we go. That was way too safe, but that's what I want. Going upright is okay, because I just want to stay away from the left side. A 3 on this one is good, and I think I actually got 3 on every single round here. Let's take 1 extra and actually give it a chance to get up to the basket. That is a lot better. Oh, that's far. Sit, right there. Okay, that's parked. So that's better, but it's more risky because that's not as flippy. I got a par here every single round because I went really flippy. I think I ended up short right every single round, but I'm okay with pars here. I just don't want to bring bogeys into play. And that's why I got 47 pars out of 54 possible holes. We have kind of a backstop considering it's uphill, so we can give this a bit of a run. But like I said, pars are good. Yeah, good layup. Par on the first one. It's okay. All right, so this one was parked. But like I said, pars are good. And that's why I played very safe this entire tournament. And that's how I made cash. But I'll tell you more about that on the next hole. If you guys want to support me, check out pug.se, get my merch, all of these options, like this shirt and this cap and this new bucket hat as well. Very nice. Also check out bouncebackdiscgolf.com, link right here, for the best disc golf towels in the game. This is my personal logo, but you can get all of these different patches and towels and funny quotes and weird designs, and yeah, a lot of great stuff, and 100% the best disc golf towels in the game. All right, hole 2, 96 meters straight ahead, gap shot. Just get it into the gap and land safe over there. Really steep hill behind the basket and on the right side. On a hole like this, because pars are good, bogeys are bad, the danger is on the right side, so I don't want to bring that into play. And I could get a mid-range or maybe even a putter to the basket here, but that could be dangerous because on this hole we have a slope right here where the wind comes up every single time, and there could actually be a headwind that you don't feel as well. And because of that, I'm not going with a mid-range. I'm actually going for a straight fairway driver just to get it into the gap, not flip over and then fade towards the left side. Going straight is okay, then I will park it. If it goes left, then it's okay as well, because then it will be on top of the hill and bogey is not in play. But if you go for a slower disc, there's more chance for a flip and a turn and bringing the right side into play. So this is the safer play. And that's okay. That's a long putt. I threw it a bit too low. I made it into the gap and the right side is not in play. Now let's try to be more aggressive with the mid-range. Look at that. Parked. Okay. Sit. Sit. Okay, that's parked. But it brings more stuff into play, so it's not worth it. Throw a straight fairway, skip or slide up, or fade left. Don't bring right side into play. Really long putt here, and roll away potential behind the basket, and headwind coming up the hill. So this might be a layup in the tournament, but I have a really floaty jump putt, so we're gonna give it a bid. Sit. That's okay. It's fading towards the left side, so it's safe. Another par. Hole 3, 103 meter par 3, OB right and left and long and everywhere. And I knew coming into this tournament that a lot of people are going to get more birdies than me, of course. There are a lot more better players than me in this tournament. But I'm at my home course and I know how to play it. So my thought process was a lot more people are gonna get the birdies, but they're also gonna get the bogeys. So there's not gonna be that many people that go even under par at this course, because there's dangers on every single hole. And that's why I chose to play smart on every single hole, but still give me chances for birdies. I didn't get that many birdies, which is boring, but it worked. So on this hole, for me to get a birdie is probably easier with a backhand turnover, but that brings the long and right side OB into play. And if I fade out, I bring the left side OB into play as well. So the safer play, just a wide forehand. I probably won't get it all the way up to the basket, but I'm still gonna get myself into the fairway and maybe a long chance for the birdie. It's not all the way up there, but like I said, it's a C2 putt for the birdie. Okay. It's in, it's a birdie. All right, hole 4, 100 meter, par 3, OB left the entire way, OB long the entire way, and OB right the entire way. And if you have the distance here, the forehand skip play is probably the best play. But for me, to get it that far, I'm actually risking throwing it too straight on my forehand. So here, I just want to get it into the bowl, which is beneath the basket. And I can do that pretty much every single time with a backhand roller. And so far on these 3 holes that I've played, all 3 rounds, I got par on the first one. I got 2 pars and 1 birdie on the second hole. And I got 3 pars on the third hole. Now through, let's say 9 holes, I'm -1. And -1 through 9 holes, that's decent. Being under par is good on this course. I actually missed my line, but because I'm throwing a roller, the disc is really thin, so it doesn't have that much area to hit stuff in the way. Accidentally went in the inside gap, but I'm down in the bowl and I have a C2 putt for the birdie, which is what happened every single round during the tournament. Although I hit my line in every single round. Scary part is hitting the basket and rolling away, but we're still gonna give it a chance. Let's be really floaty here. Okay, it's a par. Hole 5, really short hole, 71 meter island hole. Hazard around the island the entire way. Normally on this hole, the easiest play is to go backhand over here, just swing it in. But because the basket is on the other side of the hill, that brings rollaways into the hazard into play. So what I did on this hole, every single round during the tournament, I threw a tomahawk. Because that way I don't get a right to left movement, which could skip and roll. I only get a up and down movement and just land on top of the hill. Hit the branch on the way down. I think this is actually outside, so let's give it a bit of a jump putt here. And that's another birdie. And like you see, there's a lot of C2 putts if you're playing with this method. And that's kind of the plan, because my C2 putts have been really good lately. Unfortunately, during the tournament, I had so many shane outs and so many basket hits from C2, but they just wouldn't go in. So that's pretty unfortunate. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more birdies. But like I said, pars are okay. Bogeys are bad. One of the signature holes here on Järva, hole 6, 148 meter par 3 downhill, OB left and right the entire way, usually a lot of wind. So the important part is your disc choice and just getting it flat and getting it down into the gap. Rather right side than left side, because if you go into the left side, it's really thick and you could be in C2 but not even be able to lay it up. So I'm going pretty low with a distance driver, just hit it hard and straight, maybe a little bit of drift towards the right side, considering the right side is safer, and then skip it up into the gap. A lot of headwind right now, so going pretty overstable. During the tournament, I got 2 pars and 1 birdie on this hole. Okay, I did what I told you not to do. And I went towards the left side. I thought the wind was gonna flip that disc more, but turns out there's not as much headwind over there as it is right here. Really tight rough, so we're gonna have to hit this gap to save the par. That might be in. Oof. I think I almost threw it in, actually. Hole 7, 107 meter par 3 uphill, OB left, right and long the entire way. And if you have the distance, hyzer over here is probably the best play. I don't have that much distance, so I have to go kind of a flex line, just straight on. So I'm going with the more overstable strike, just throw it flat on the left side of the basket, get it to drift right a little bit and then come back. Here, not that much could go wrong. Just don't flip it over too much and you should be okay. I didn't flip it to enough. Another C2 putt, we'll give it a bid once again. Sit. I got 2 bogeys in the entire tournament through 54 holes. But this is one of the holes that I got a bogey on. I was pretty much in the same place, but then I was just going to lay it up with a forehand, but I accidentally hit this tree right here. And I was like, right here. But because I hit that tree, I was still just thinking about how bad that approach was. So I didn't think about the tailwind that was coming up with the hill. So I threw my putt with a lot of hyzer, which made the disc rise. So I actually hit the band right here and rolled down to like C1 edge, but still made the putt. But that was one of the bogeys. And the only reason I got that bogey was because I was just frustrated with the approach, so I wasn't thinking about the wind. Otherwise, that would have been a par as well. Hole 8, 96 meter par 3. You have these bushes in the way, so you had to throw over them. And it's a left to right slope the entire way. Even though you're landing next to the basket, 50% of the time you're still gonna get a roll. And the right side is really steep. So main thing here, just try to stick it by the basket. Which brings me to my play right here. I could again get this to the basket with a mid-range, maybe even a putter. If I do that, I'm gonna land flat. But the thing is, on this hole, like I said on hole 2, there could be winds coming up from the hill on the right side. So you don't want to bring that flip into play. So you want to throw something overstable. And if I'm going overstable, I can't get there with a mid or a putter. So I have to throw a fairway driver, which is bringing the rollaway more into play because I'm coming in with more of an angle. But it's much easier to hit the line with a fairway driver for me. And I'm not bringing the right side flip into play. I'm just gonna fade down by the basket. And if I roll, well, I can still say par. But the important part is not to go right and get into the bushes, because that's how you get bogeys and double bogeys on this hole. Going with my overstable instinct. Threw it on a bit too much of an Annie, but I should still be in C1 and have a birdie putt. Let's try it out with a straight mid-range instead. I have a bit of a tailwind as well, so should be easier. No, I hit the only tree in the way. Let's go for one more. Let's go with the mind bender instead. Come back. Go in. Oof. Sit. Okay, that is parked, and I almost aced it. And I actually almost aced it in the tournament with my fairway driver as well. But then I got the roll away because I came in with more angle. But like you saw right there, even with the mid-range coming in on a slight hyzer, it could still roll. So it's not that big of a difference throwing the fairway driver instead. My fairway driver was way too far, so I'm over here. Yeah. Can't swing it that far left with this stuff in the way. Alright, we're here at hole 9, the first par 4 of the course. This hole is normally a par 3 from over there, but now they've moved the tee pad back and it's a par 4. And the par 3 is really easy. So my thought process on this one is to just get it into the fairway of the par 3 and throw my normal shot on the par 3. I see a lot of people wanting to like push it really far and straight and then trying to get it somewhere into the gap. I just want to throw a hyzer, get it into the fairway of the par 3 and throw my shot from there. So I'm going with the destroyer here, just throw it out on a hyzer, fade it in front of the birch and get it into the fairway left. Being left is the important part, because the more right you are, the less of a gap you will have to get it through the double Mando. That's actually not as far left as I want it, but it should be enough to have a chance for the forehand approach. But we'll see. So here you can see my drive, and here's the double Mando and the basket over there. And this is the fairway I was talking about. Ideally, I would want to be in the sand right here, which is perfectly in the middle, because right here is the tee pad for the par 3, which is really easy. So I didn't really swing it as far left as I wanted. I don't want a left to right fading forehand. I want a pretty straight forehand that is just pushing towards the basket. And you don't want to go far, because behind the basket it's a really steep drop off. So I'm going with the batty. Just get it into the gap and give myself a birdie putt. Okay, I pulled it a bit and I actually hit the Mando tree, but I made it through. Should be an easy par, but let's see what we have. This was actually the second and last hole that I got a bogey on. And the reason was I was right here with my tee shot, and then I took up my really new Prodigy A5 in the really grippy glow plastic. And I just wanted to smooth it into the gap, but it was raining during the night, so the grass was a bit wet. And wet hands, wet disc with a really grippy plastic, that's not good. So it got stuck in my hand and I actually hit the Mando tree like I did now, but on the left side, and I actually missed the Mando. So I went from the drop zone here, saved my bogey, but that was the only other bogey that I got in the tournament. So one bogey for being irritated on the upshot and not concentrating on the wind on my putt from like 4 meters. And then here with a wet disc that just got stuck in my hand and I missed the Mando. Those are the only 2 bogeys that I got in the tournament, which says a lot about this method of playing. It takes some really dumb mistakes to actually get bogeys when you play this safe. Alright, so this in the tournament is a really easy layup. You don't want to go for this. Get yourself a par and move on, but let's give it a run. It's fun. Ugh, that was close, but it's really steep behind the basket, so that's gonna be a bogey, 100%. The putt that I just missed is like 15 meters down the hill. Alright, we made it to the back 9. Hole 10, 97 meter par 3, basket behind the hill, behind these big trees. This is a pretty weird line. I just want to throw a hyzer around the big trees, maybe push towards the basket, but I'm not trying to park it. I'm just trying to get it up there so I have a safe par, but maybe a long look for it. Going overstable strike here. That was scary. Get a big skip. Okay, I pulled that. And I actually did the exact same thing in the last round. No, second round in the tournament. I hit those exact same leaves. Very lucky. Might actually be a putt if I got the skip. All right, I didn't get the skip I wanted and I pulled the shot, pretty bad shot. So this is just a easy layup. Oh, 3 in the way. Didn't see that one. One more, safer. That's better. All right, that was sloppy. I didn't see this tree and I'm actually shorter than I thought. So this is a tester for the par. Okay. It's a par, it's okay. Hole 11, 145 meter par 3. Blind from the tee, you can't see the basket. It's like over here and it's really downhill. The danger is fading out and going into the rough on the left side down there. You don't want to be there. So I'm going really flippy, just throw it out and get it to drift right the entire way. If it fades out, then I'm gonna have a birdie putt. If it doesn't, I'm gonna lay up for the par and just drift right. I don't know where it went. Like I said, it's blind, so you can't really see anything here. I think I faded out and rolled a bit, but we should have an easy approach here. Let's give it a slight bid with a forehand. No height. Okay, but I don't know where the other disc went. I thought it was perfect. Didn't really see where it ended up though. Where are you? Is it right here? Yes, it's right here. It's way too far. Had a good line though. It might actually have been close to going in. Right to left, headwind. It's gonna lift and push, so throw it low right. Too low right. But par on this hole is good. As long as you don't bring that rough into play or turning it over way too fast and going into the right side rough, then you should have an easy par. And par on this hole is good. Not a lot of birdies, I don't think. Now this is the signature hole of Järva. 214 meter par 4. Downhill the entire way. Beautiful scenery. OB right and left the entire way, and it's really fun to just bomb one down here. A lot of the time we have a lot of headwind though, so I would recommend throwing a overstable distance driver. Just get it down there so far that you can go for a spike hyzer second shot. The most open approach is a forehand approach, but then you have to push it so far down that for me, I'm bringing stuff into play that I don't want. So I'm just going overstable, land in the fairway and get a spike hyzer from there. So here I'm going with my DD3. Might get a little bit of turn in the headwind, but I know it's always gonna come back. That's good. A bit too far left, but I should have a spike hyzer from there. It's okay. Let's go for some more distance. Destroyer. For me, that's pretty much a perfect shot. I don't think I can get it a lot further than that without going for like a turnover flex shot. So yeah, that's good. 80 meters left to the basket. Kind of a weird line because I'm behind these trees. I want to be more out there, but it's okay. There's OB long of the basket though, which is pretty scary, but we're gonna throw it really high and just spike down by the basket. And we have a bit of a left to right wind as well, so it's gonna push down and it's not gonna glide as far left as it would usually. You see how it's getting pushed down? Did I land in the bush?
Sounds like it.
That's unfortunate because that was a pretty good shot. With a perfect shot, this is the easiest layup, but going for a perfect shot, it's too risky. But that's a really easy birdie. Landed right here in the bush. Am I outside though? I think I'm just outside. So I can do kind of a weird step putt right here. It's still a birdie putt and never bringing any OB or anything into play. That's a nice birdie, which brings us to -3, I think. Bogey free, and that's the important thing. Birdies are gonna come naturally. If you just stay away from bogeys, you're gonna get a good score, and that's how I cashed. Hole 13, probably the most specific landing zone hole on the course. Tight fairway with OB everywhere, and right in the landing zone where most people land, the OB comes even closer. So really tight landing zone here if you don't throw it really far. And on a hole like this, it's 229 meter par 4, 30% of the field got bogey or worse on this hole. The average score on this hole was 4.44, so 0.44 strokes over par. So if you get a par here, you earn strokes on the field. So that's what I'm doing. I'm laying up 3 times, I'm getting my par, and I move on. So right here, fairway driver first, throw it out wide, get it into the fairway, and move on from there. And sit right there. Easy layup, and from there, another layup, and from there, another layup. Get your 4, move on. Right to left, tailwind. It's gonna push the disc, so throw it out wide, as safe as possible. And sit right there. Not as far as I want it, threw it a bit too high, but it should be okay. 60 meter approach here for the par. I got par here every single round, and I do that by coming in with the batty on a forehand, just trying to land it really soft, because everything is sloping down towards the left side, so you don't want rollaways here, and you don't want to come in with a high backhand, because then it's gonna skip and roll. So really soft forehand with the bag. A bit of a headwind, so it kind of flipped on me, but it's in the circle, should be a putt. That's bad. Okay, unfortunately we got a bogey, but that was a bad putt. That sucks. But it was a lot of headwind on the approach, so I accidentally turned it over. And that was a really bad putt. I'm like 6 meters away, so whatever. Hole 14, par 4, 253 meters. OB left, right the entire way, and kind of a OB path in the middle, which is pretty much the normal landing zone for me on a backhand. So normally I would just throw a spike hyzer, get it into the fairway, then throw another spike hyzer, and then an approach and get my par and move on. But I realized in my practice round here that an aggressive roller is actually really safe as well. For it to be OB, it has to curl in the perfect timing to just land in the middle of the OB path. So it's really unlikely. And I threw roller here all 3 rounds and got par every single round, but I did actually have 1 birdie chance. So I'm going for the birdie here, even though it's the longest hole on the course. Flippy roller out towards the left side, land almost vertical, but then push straight. Stand up and sit right there. Okay, kind of curled backwards, so not as far as I wanted it, but I'm past the OB, and I think I have like 135 to the basket, which is doable, so it's a chance for the birdie while still being aggressive but still safe. Going overstable strike. If I land inside C2, I'm happy. Go, 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 go. Sit, sit, sit. I think that might be OB. Did not expect that much of a skip. That's unfortunate. I totally don't deserve this, but it's just safe. 1 stick over there, 1 stick here, and it's like halfway out, halfway in. So that's really lucky, and I don't deserve to be inbounds. But now we have a long bid for the birdie. Stay, sit, 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 sit. Oh my God, it flew so fast. Why am I so strong? Okay, should be a par though, hopefully. I'm not gonna make the same mistake 2 holes in a row. That's just not happening. Okay, it's a par. But like I said, giving myself a chance for the birdie. But I did not expect my approach to fade and skip that much. I thought it would flip more in the headwind and just stay straight. Hole 15, 188 meter par 4. And if you ask me personally, I don't think this is a good hole. And that hurts me to say, because this is Järva, the most beautiful course in the world. But I don't think the design for this hole is actually that good. Because the first shot has to be so far to get an easy approach that it's basically impossible. To actually get the birdie, you have to somehow bring the left side for the approach into play. Go for like a shortcut through the woods or throw something really high over the top. You have to bring stuff into play that should not be into play if you throw a perfect tee shot. So I don't really like this hole. I'm going really flippy, hyzer flip, like steep hyzer up to flat, just push as far straight as I can, and then around the corner, try to save something from there, or go for the shortcut and go for the birdie. It depends on where my first shot lands. That might be pretty perfect, might be a little bit short, but I think it's really good. Alright, there's my disc, here's the Mando, and the basket is like straight behind the Mando, back there, behind the woods. So I'm like 15 meters short of the actual landing zone, which is like right there, to try to go through. For this hole to actually be a good par 4, you have to throw it like up to that path over there. And that's basically not possible, which is why this is not my favorite hole. Alright, I'm just going lay up here with my zone, backhand through the gap here, get my par and move on. Can't do much more from here. Actually laid it up a bit short here. You want to be like over here to have a straight approach. Now I have some tree limbs in the way. Should still be a pretty routine upshot. Going forehand with the berg. Accidentally turned it over a bit too much again. Hit some limbs on the way in, so I'm just inside C1 to try to save my par. It's in, but that's a really bad approach. Should not have to make a putt here. Hole 16, 194 meter par 4. OB, left, right the entire way, and behind the basket when you come to the green as well. And this hole is actually the hole that made me cash, because in the last round I was even through 15 holes, and I knew I had to get at least 1 more birdie to get into the cash. I had a pretty decent drive, but it was a bit too far left, and from there I went with a tomahawk, and I actually left the tomahawk short. I will show you when we get up there, but it was a really clutch putt. But first shot, just throw it out there, far straight, don't go OB. I'm going destroyer. Come back and it's perfect. Oof, that is so close to OB. But I wanted to push it towards the right side because that opens up my next shot. But that is so close to OB. I'll show you how I played it in the tournament. A lot safer and in the middle. That's how I played it. From here you basically have two options. Go with the wide hyzer around the big trees, or you can just go for the straight gap right here, which I'm doing because I don't want to bring the OB on the right and far side into play. So going method, 83 meters straight ahead, just get myself a chance for the birdie. That is perfect. All right, so in the last run I landed somewhere around here and I had this in front of me, so I went for the tomahawk approach. I didn't really throw it forward, I just threw it kind of up into the air, so I landed like 18 meters short, and I will show you the putt. So I landed like right here for my approach, and from here with the low ceiling, this is not a putt for me. I can't go for it straight on, because if I do that, I'm gonna bring OB long into play, and I certainly didn't want my bogey. I wanted a birdie, and I knew I had to birdie this one because the last two holes are pretty hard for me to birdie. I don't know how I made it. I feel like it was like destiny for it to go in, because there's basically no line for it to go in here, but I threw it up in the corner right here and then dumped it down. I'll try to do it again. Not that hard, I threw it way softer. Yeah, kind of like that. And it was really wobbly and like a pretty bad putt, but somehow sticked it left side chains and got my birdie, which made me go -1 again and just make it into the cash line. But now I have a 9-meter putt for the birdie, which is a lot easier than what I did over there. And that's a birdie. Hole 17, 104-meter par 3 uphill, really low ceiling, Mando on the left side, OB right on the gravel road, and OB left up by the next tee pad. Here I'm going for a pretty overstable distance driver, throw it hard underneath the branches and try to skip it up for a look at the birdie. But this hole is just really difficult to actually get it up there because of the low ceiling and the uphill and the tree in the way, and yeah, get through. Oh, nice. No, okay. It's decent. I put a bit too much ante on it and a bit too much nose up, so I actually went over the branch. Did not want to do that. Right, let's give it a bid here. We can make it fall towards the left side, so OB long shouldn't be in play. Ah, shorty. You need to want it. And I actually made a really nice 18-meter putt on this hole, so I went -1 in the tournament on this hole as well. So that's nice. We made it to hole 18, 194-meter par 4, uphill the entire way, OB left the entire way, and then OB down by the road again. When you get up to the basket, there's OB deep and left over there as well. First shot, just throw it straight as far as possible. Try to get it into position to have a approach from there. I don't think I can throw it that far, so I'm happy with par here. That's close to the OB left. It might not be the furthest drive, but I think I'm actually high up on the hill enough that I can actually try to go for it. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Wide hyzer flip up, try to get it around the corner and hopefully look for the birdie. Glide, please glide. And now we just hope that it sat, and I might actually have a C2 putt for the birdie. But I'm really bad at throwing uphill like this. Let's go for one more. Let's go under the branches and be more aggressive. That's too straight, I think. All right, both of them a bit short, but inside C2, and I look for the birdie. Fortunately, none of them rolled. One right here and one right here. This is the real one. Let's try to end it with a nice birdie. No! So close. I really wanted a birdie on this one. Ah, that's unfortunate. But it's still a par, and a par on this is basically what I'm happy with. And a par on this brings us to 3 down, which is 1 stroke better than what I got during my best round in the tournament, which was my first 1000 rated PDGA round. So this should be like 1010, somewhere around there, which is pretty good. But that's been it, and that's my secret to how I played and how I cashed in a Disc Golf Pro Tour tournament, even though I'm not as good as a lot of the players that I went up against. These are the final scores, and here you can see that I ended up at 40th place, and top 44 got cash, so I got in at last spot, and I made $107, which is not a lot, but I can still say that I cashed on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. But that's it for this time. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next. Also, don't forget the bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one.